Greetings, everybody. It's Ville Herman Nivalo from a band called Him. And at the moment, you're enjoying this particular thingy. Spotlight Report. See you later.
Okay, hi, I'm George from Spotlight Report. I'm here with Valu from Him. So, how are you been so far, man?
Hello, hello. Oh yeah, well, it's a crazy festival, isn't it? You know, we just flew in a couple of days ago. Played our first gig last night. Flew in here in Sydney just a few hours ago, and there's so many things going on. There's so many cool bands and so many of our idols. You know, like I'm hoping to see Rob Zombie tomorrow when they do their side show here in Sydney, and you know, it's fantastic. We're the fanboys. You know, it doesn't feel like a tour. It feels like we're just we're looking around, and there's like so many people who are so inspiring to what we do. So it's good fun.
Fantastic. And also, you have a strong fan base. Like, I've seen a lot of Hertagrams walking around, tattoos. And so, how you feel when you see all those fans with skinning themselves with what you create?
Well, you know, obviously it's a special thing. It's something that when you start a band, you don't have the slightest idea how people are going to react to the music or to the visuals or whatever it might be. So, and it's not in our hands. It's in the people's hands, you know. So we are in a blessed position that so many people seem to find something special in what we do, and it's great and it's amazing, and it's like traveling around the world, and it's so funny. We come from a little tiny country behind God's back, and after all these years to be able to travel around and see that happen, it's mind-boggling and mind-blowing and mind-bending.
Also, well, your latest release, Tears of Tape, we were reading that you have some issues while doing the album because Gus got injured and stuff like that. So, how you guys managed to pull that album out, and are you proud with the final product?
Yeah, we're happy with it. You know, of course we're proud. You know, if we wouldn't be proud with an album, we wouldn't release it. Gus did have problems with his hands, and that was one of the reasons that it took a long time to finish the album, because we had to take a break for nearly a year, and everybody was heartbroken, and because, you know, we're school friends, and you know, it's like you can't just call another drummer. It's not the same band, you know, so we had to wait it out, and he really had to work hard to get his hands working again, and it was stressful, but I'm so glad that we got the album done, because otherwise it wouldn't be like you know, oh Lord, it would be terrible. So, you know, let's say there was a positive outcome of something that was really, really stressful. So that was a cool thing.
What comes first for you, the melodies or the lyrics?
Usually it's the melodies and the riffs, but I do write stuff down, but a lot of times they're just ideas. I never use the ideas in the finalized lyrics. But it's a bit different from song to song, and I think that makes it kind of interesting too, that it's not exactly the same every time around.
Okay. And also, Poison Gear was a game changer, but personally, which song you think was the game changer, or what album was the game changer for you guys to make it on the industry?
Well, I think that the game changer for us was a song by Chris Isaak called Wicked Game.
Yeah.
It's one of the first songs we played together as a band, and through that song we kind of found out the sound of him. And then also it was one of the first songs that got played on the radio back home, and that gave us the kind of like a first kick in the butt. So yeah, I'd say that Wicked Game is probably the one. But
we actually like your version more than the original. Sorry, Chris, but it's true.
Well, you know, I'm happy to hear that too. You know, our idea was not to destroy the original in any sense. You know, it was just our interpretation. We wanted to combine something hard rocking with the sentimental heart of the song. You know, not just make it ugly and dirty and just heavy because of it, but to maintain the kind of the feel, more or less. But yes, I guess it's easier to bang your head to than the original. Yeah.
You also did a cover for The Reaper as well, so I wonder if there's any cover song in the works or any cover song that you might surprise Australian fans, or?
To be honest with you, no clue. We played so many covers in the past that it becomes boring after a while, and so it's one of those things. I think that if we all of a sudden hear a song, and it kind of like gets stuck in our heads, that's when it's good to do it, as opposed to us trying to figure out what cover song to do next. And when we did Wicked Game and when we did the Don't Fear the Reaper stuff, it wasn't so often that hard rocking bands were doing covers So then it became like a norm that everybody was doing it. I'm not saying because of us, but it was like same time when Marilyn Manson did "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This," and so there was a lot of like hard rocking bands doing dirtier, uglier, noisier versions of some pretty songs from the '80s. So it wasn't as so surprising anymore. So so we're still waiting.
And also, well, this is not your first Soundwave Festival. We saw you before. And what you remember about your previous visit to Australia? Which bands did you get to hang out at? Which band did you see live?
That was 2010, wasn't it? Yeah. I wonder because I didn't hang out with a lot of people on that tour because I think I was in the hotel room and I was working on some a remix album, I guess. We released this little odd remix album after Screamworks, and I think that I was doing that more or less. So it wasn't like it was enjoyable, yes, but it wasn't like socializing. And then again, Finnish people are not great at socializing, so we're kind of like we like to keep to ourselves. So we didn't get crazy and go partying every night and stuff. So it's more about just saying hi to a lot of people. There are, I still haven't. I don't even know all the bands that are playing here. So. I haven't seen the entire list.
Okay. Also, how you balance your personal life? Because I've been reading and doing my research for you, and there's many tabloids going after you and asking you typical gossip questions that I personally hate. But how you level your life and you avoid that?
Well, I guess that you can't avoid it. I guess the thing is that if it happens, you just have to laugh it off. Just have some humor about it. If people find mundane things so very interesting, so be it. It's a bit better just to not think about it because otherwise at least it would make me totally paranoid. Start reading about myself in like tabloids or whatever, and it's not. And they've been treating us fairly well. It hasn't been anything so stupidly crazy.
I have a bunch of fun questions here that we always take.
Let's go for it.
Otherwise, they're gonna kill me if I don't ask that. So, Bloodhound Gang and Cradle of Filth, you collaborate with those two bands, and they're different styles. So, how was the experience working with them?
Well, with Bloodhound Gang, I was actually at Jimmy Pop's home studio, and it's a long story. He's one of the early supporters of him in North America, and great friends with Bam Margera. So we met each other many years ago when they were touring Europe with Bloodhound Gang, and then he just asked me if I want to sing some, and then I flew over to his place and we partied a couple of days and ended up with those vocals on it. Then Cradle of Filth, I was in touch with Danny, and then I sang those bits and pieces. You wanted a different kind of a vocalist for that particular song, and I just sang it at the studio in Helsinki. I sent bits and pieces. At times it works like that these days. You're not necessarily there. Same, I did some backing vocals for Anathema, a band who I greatly adore, and I've done many things, but it's always a bit different. At times it can be like when you do backing vocals, it can be that you just buy 2 cases of beer and you go into the studio with a bunch of friends and just have a party, and that could be the thing. And then at times it's a bit more serious and professional.
And also, if there is any band or artist you would like to collaborate with that you haven't had the chance yet?
No, not really, because I think the coolest stuff happens when you don't know what to expect, or you're not expecting too much. I don't have any like a list that I want to cross names off. I think that the coolest thing is that you meet somebody by chance, by accident, and then you just get along, and then you do something together. That's the coolest thing.
Well, Rob Zombie's around.
Well, sure. Yeah, he's one of the many great people around here. So we'll see. But at times I think that it's very important when you're a fan, it's important to be a fan. Not to get too close.
I agree, totally agree. And also, I have a question here as well. Like, what you do in your spare time?
Well, I haven't had too much spare time. Whenever in Helsinki, I'm usually I'm hanging out with my family, with my little brother, and with my mom and my dad. We've been rehearsing quite a bit, and also, when we're recording and touring, there's very little time that we get to spend with our friends. So it's usually there's tons of reunions and hanging out in bars and playing pool and getting shit-faced. The usual.
Yeah, the usual stuff. Okay, and also, how did you get to meet Kat Von D? Are you planning to get another tattoo with her?
Oh, I met through, well, that's a long story too. Just a Finnish guy who used to live in LA. He just, we were talking about tattoos because I was supposed to get it, well, whatever, that's a long story, but we just met up and became friends, and then she was friends with Bam Margera, and then she became friends with the whole band, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, we just got along, and as simple as that.
And speaking about tattoos, you have poets in one of your arms, and you have movie stars in your chest as well. What's the name? Maya Deren. So, how that people inspire you in your lives for you to get inked?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be anything earth-shattering. It just has to. You have to come up with a crazy idea and just do it, because I think that's what life's about. You know, if you sit on an idea and think about an idea too much, you're killing it. The best thing is to go with the flow, and you get inspired by something, and then in my case, you know, getting inspired by Klaus Kinski or whatever. Then I want to get his face tattooed on my body. That's as simple as that. For me, it's fun, and it's not too serious, you know, in that sense. It's just ink.
Okay. And what's your favorite hymn song?
Well, I think it's going to be the one we play last tonight, which is When Love and Death Embrace.
And why?
It's after Wicked Game. It's one of the first songs that we kind of found an identity, and the first song that we got some respect. You know, people really loved it where we come from, and it's been kind of a theme song for him back in Finland, and you know, it is what we're still all about. It still sounds to me, it sounds current. It's a simple love song, but it's still a bit twisted and crooked and noisy, and it's got all the Twin Peaks elements we're so proud of.
And speaking about songs, what's your favorite topic for a song?
Probably the one I still haven't written about. You know, there has to be some new stuff. You know, a lot of times my lyrics go through they're through a very emotional lens. You know, I like matters of the heart. It doesn't necessarily have to be about boy and a girl love, but it's about being confused and trying to figure out why and wherefore and where to go next. I think it's very universal in that sense. So it's lost in the wheels of confusion.
And just to start wrapping up, we always ask to our guests these two questions. The first one is, can you share with us any fun story while on the road with the band?
That's one of the toughest questions, because obviously there's many, but then again, many of them you probably wouldn't find funny, because in our case we've been together for more than 20 years as a band, so we know each other so well that 99.9% of all the fun stuff is they're inside jokes. Okay. So a lot of people don't get them. I'm just wondering. Well, you know, I think one of the classics thing was our bass player Miga. He was wearing like leather pants that were like 2 sizes too tiny or whatever, and we had a national TV shooting a live gig somewhere, and they actually cracked, and he wasn't wearing any underwear, and the cameras were there right at that moment, and then you should have seen the faces of the girls at the first row. They were like. So that was pretty funny, you know, and our bass player was just like, whatever. He put some gaffer tape on it, and then you should have seen his face on the backstage area when he ripped it off. You know, you got to do something. You know, this wardrobe malfunction, it just happens.
That's hilarious. And following up on that, have you ever had any crazy fan requests, like something weird to sign or some weird request from a fan?
No, you know, again, you know, I think for some reason, you know, people who are into our band seem to be really loyal and really think about it, and they have like great imagination, and we've seen great pieces of art, people painting and doing stuff, but it's never, or let's say not never, but it's very, very rarely it's negative. It would be crazy in a bad way. So no, it's all good.
All good so far.
Yeah.
Okay, man, well, thanks so much for your time. It's an honor talking to you.